Hello, it's Bethany. I'm a lower elementary teacher, and today is the last part of the four-part series of reviewing my classrooms through the years. So let's just go through. This is my most recent year from the 25-26 school year. So we had more hooks installed the previous year, and so that's where I kept this stuff is kind of basically the same as last video where their shoes and notebooks go. I moved the supplies back over here. So that was interesting. I go through every supply for no reason. And then here is where oh, that's my seat. That's the chair I sit in to give presentations. I've had it for multiple years, especially like since my training, and that's very nice. I would recommend a floor seat. You don't already have them. This is where it starts to look messy in the language. I'm going to take the grammar boxes off my shelf. I made a new way, I mean, not a new way, but like a more streamlined way to do grammar, and the kids just never choose that, and they get confused between the different colors. So yeah, I'm just not going to use the grammar cards. I'm going to use my own grammar cards and how I do it, which I'll talk about here soon. I was just trying to make it for the whole, like, to see how it was used and everything before I offer the product or after the product for my business, but like the thing I use in my classroom to everybody. I like to obviously test out what I'm using before with my own students before I say, oh yes, that could actually work with other students. So that'll be coming up soon. Here's my table again. The math basically stayed the same, but there's just more space to work in there because the language didn't jut out because this is the math area. The language now is up against the window, but I put the language stuff back for next year where it goes so we could have the window space to work because it just looks better in the classroom when there are the open windows, obviously. So those two went back, but if you watched my other videos, I said, well, they didn't work in that language area because it was too small, but with the extra space now of having another one against the wall, which you'll see in August when I post the 2026-2027 classroom video. So the computers basically stayed the same for last year. I finally moved the books. If you saw in my other ones, I said, well, the books weren't by the book area. I finally moved them over here and made like a writing area for students here, but they didn't use it very much to write, just to work and things. Um, there's the library and the couch again. I left those blank for like library books. And then the peace area was kind of the same. I moved it. And then this is when I finally have my big old cultural section. I finally used more shelf space. I'll just have to see because if you watched my last video, the I talked about how I used to have this shelf be a practical life shelf. And I know it's usually for 3 to 6, but we did a lot of 6 to 9 fun things like hand-eye coordination with juggling, badminton, and balloon animals type of thing. It was just so much fun to do music, Spanish, things like that. Um, yep, there are things. And then this is just rocks and plants and animals. It's finally spread out. I put the books by what goes along with them. So more spread out. I like the cultural area like this. It's staying like this. I really only changed for next year putting the language shelves back to where they originally were. So it's all together for once. In my classroom, every language shelf is in this classroom is all together. So that's exciting. And the rest of this just stayed the same. We moved these tables back the long ways. And that's about it. And so we will see you in soon in another video. I have plenty of videos about Montessori you can watch, and you can join my free hub down below. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.